And so I'm curious if you can talk a little bit more about, why federal protections are so important, and what we can do to ensure that everybody has access at the ballot, even when we're seeing these attacks at the federal level.
One of the things I did was also, because, sometimes when you speak about an issue, it's also important for you to read to actually understand what this means. And one of the things I found when I was reading about what this means, especially for the citizens of Jacksonville, and here in specifically, I'm talking about like Black voters, this also means that you will find, if this, continues the way on the same trajectory that it's continuing, you will have very minimal representation. And when I say minimal representation, it's along the lines of like where you'll find like for people who are not able to be part of that process, that means some of them will be automatically excluded. And so this in most cases means we'll see, a lot of Black neighborhoods not being part of this process. And when we think back to Section 2 and why the Voting Rights Act was put in place in the first place was to dismantle some of these very things that we are seeing coming back again to haunt us in 2026. So for me, when I think about that and I think about why it's important for us, to not only be mindful of this, but to take action against it, is because most times when you think about what the Supreme Court is doing, it raises concerns even for me as an individual, even though I'm not an individual of Jacksonville, but I feel for the people of Jacksonville. And that's what it takes for first and foremost, to be able to understand that even though you're not a constituent of that area, you can still be able to bring your voice, because if it's been done in Jacksonville, it's also going to be done in other areas. And so for me, one of the things that I'm hoping to do is to continue to be vigilant. When we think about like ways that we can contribute to this process is being vigilant, but also right now I see technology has made it easier for us to be able to access information. So we're able to see what's happening at the federal level. We're able to see like what are some of the like electoral systems that are currently failing us. I say us because at the end of the day, it's always about us as individuals and not a single person. And so with this, it means that we should be able to be at a point, if we have access to information, we should be at a point where we're able to connect with the communities. And I was having a conversation with Alexia and we're asking ourselves, if we did not get involved with Democracy NC, would we be knowing about some of these bad bills, for instance, that are being passed by, elected officials? And so I came to the conclusion that now that we know, we should be able to kind of develop like a chain where we know, but we are also passing this information along to other individuals so that they can be able to take actions. And so for me, this is how I would respond to this question. But also, we should also be able to ensure, like, when we think about like access to the ballot, we are not only helping people to register, but we are helping them to think beyond that process of registration. Because I believe like when those who started some of the civil rights movements that came into place that then led to the establishment of the Voting Rights Act, they wanted citizens to feel themselves as part of this process just beyond casting a ballot. That's one thing, but it's more than that.